Most people think the military is just a job. You sign a contract, you wear the uniform, you collect a paycheck every 2 weeks, and then one day you ETS or retire and it is all over. That is the story civilians believe. And that is the story most soldiers tell themselves when they first sign up. But here's the truth nobody talks about. The smartest people who join do not see the army or the military as just a paycheck. They see it as a bridge. They see it as the only path where a few years of service can turn into a lifetime of tax-free income stacked with benefits that most civilians do not even know exist. And that is what I want to show you today. Because if you are young, broke, or stuck in a cycle that feels like it will never end, the military can be the move that sets you free. Not because of the job you do while you are in, not because I say it, but because of the benefits you unlock for the rest of your life. On this channel, I show you how 3 years, only 3 years, can buy you a lifetime bag. So subscribe. Now, let's be real. The military is not perfect. It will test you. It will take things from you. Your time, your comfort, maybe even your health. But here's the part civilians do not get. Those sacrifices do not go unpaid. The VA compensation system exists for one reason, to pay you for what you gave up in uniform. And if you play it right, that system will pay you for the rest of your life. Think about that for a second. Most civilian jobs stop paying you the moment you clock out, right? You quit, you are fired, you are laid off. It is over. The check stops. But with the military, the VA check keeps coming every month, tax-free, guaranteed for life. And the numbers are not small. At 100%, we are talking about $4,500 a month. That is the equivalent of a 70K civilian job after taxes, forever. And here's the kicker. You can still work on top of it. You can still run a business. You can still invest. The disability check does not replace your income. It multiplies it. That is why I say joining with a plan is the single smartest move a broke young man can make. So let's get practical. How does this actually work? It starts with documentation. Every ache, every injury, every sleepless night, document it while you are in. Go to sick call, get it on record. Most soldiers do not. They tough it out. They say, I will be fine. And then when they ETS, when they leave the military, they have nothing to show for the damage their body took. That is why they live broke. But the ones who document everything, the ones who walk out with a record of the service-connected issues, those are the ones who file for VA disability and get paid. And that payment is not a handout. It is compensation. It is the government paying you back for the wear and tear you took on your body and your mind while wearing the uniform. That is the first piece of the retirement puzzle. But here's the hack most people do not understand. Disability is not the only benefit. It is the anchor, but it is not the whole story. The VA loan lets you buy a house with $0 down, no PMI, no funding fee if you are disabled. Civilians have to save tens of thousands of dollars just to get in the game. You walk in with nothing out of pocket. Use it to buy a duplex, live in one unit, and let tenants pay the mortgage. Now, your disability check covers your bills. Your tenants cover your rent, and you are living free. That is retirement mode in your 30s. That is what civilians cannot wrap their head around. Then there is the GI Bill. Civilians pay to study, right? You get paid to study. Tuition covered, books covered, housing allowance, deposit every month into your account. Have seen people make $2,500 a month just to sit in class. Stack that on top of your disability and you are already pulling in $7,000 a month tax-free while earning a degree that will raise your future income even more. That is not just math. That is leverage. And if you are married, your spouse can use Chapter 35 benefits to study too. That is another $1,400 a month plus tuition help. Your kids covered for college also. In many states, if you are 100% disabled, most families drawn into student loan debt. Yours can graduate debt-free while your disability keeps hitting. That is generational wealth. That is legacy. Now, let's zoom out. Imagine you are 20 years old, broke, stuck working a minimum wage job, no direction, no plan. You sign a 4-year contract. By 24, you are out. You file your claim properly. You walk away with a disability rating that pays you $2,000, $3,000, maybe even $4,500 a month tax-free. You use the VA loan to buy a house or a duplex. You use the GI Bill to get paid while you study. You stack a state benefit on top. Property tax exemption, free registration for your car, free tuition, By your late 20s, you are not just surviving, you are building wealth civilians will not touch until their 50s. That is the hidden truth. That is the hack. But listen, this is not just math. This is about freedom. Most young men in America feel trapped. They are buried in debt, stuck in low-paying jobs, watching inflation eat their paychecks. They feel like no matter how hard they work, they cannot get ahead. And they are right, because the system is stacked against civilians. But the military flips the script. It is the only path where your youth and your sacrifice bear you benefits that last a lifetime. You give a few years upfront, and in return, you get a lifetime back. That is a trade civilians cannot make. I'm not a recruiter. That is a trade that can change everything. Now, I know the criticism. People will say, you are just telling people to join for money. No, I'm telling you to join with a plan, because people already joined broke, aimless, and lost, right? They already joined chasing stability. The difference is most do not think long term. They save, they get out, and they end up broke anyway. I'm saying do not be that guy. Do not give 4 years of your life and walk away with nothing. Go in with eyes open. Document everything. Learn the system. File the claim. Stack the benefits. That is not greed. That is wisdom. That is survival in a world that does not care about your pride. Let me paint a picture. Two soldiers sign the same contract. Same MOS. MOS is the job in the military. Same deployment. One ignores his injuries, never go to sick call, never files. He gets out, gets a job at 50K per year, pays rent, pays bills, and lives paycheck to paycheck. 10 years later, he's older, more tired, still broke. The other documents everything, files, appeals, and works out with 100% rating. That is 4,500 at least a month tax-free for life. He buys a duplex with a VA loan, lives rent-free, and pockets 1,200 from tenants. He goes to school on the GI Bill, adds 2,500 a month in housing allowance, and lands a 70K job after graduating. His spouse uses Chapter 35 to study with a stipend. His kids will go to school debt-free. 10 years later, he owns property, has investments, and could retire if he wanted. Same contract, same service, different literacy. That is the difference a plan makes. And here's the part nobody tells you. The VA does not chase you. They will not knock on your door with a check. They will not explain the benefits in detail. They will not remind you what you are owed. If you do not know, if you do not file, if you do not fight, you get nothing. That is why 90% of veterans miss out. They do not file, they do not appeal, they do not stack, and they live broke, bitter, and angry. The 10% who do, they live free. They retire decades early. They pass on wealth instead of debt. That is the game. That is the hack. So if you are watching this and you are young, broke, and lost in life, do not ignore the military, please. Do not buy into the civilian lie that is slavery or that is just a job. It is not perfect, I know, but it is the only path where 3 or 4 years of service can set you up for life. The only path where a short contract can buy you freedom. The only path where the government keeps paying you long after you stop working, but only if you go in with a plan. Drop a comment, like the video, share it please. If you have any question, drop a comment and I will answer them. If this helped you, subscribe for more plays that turn service into freedom. Thank you for watching till the end. Peace. I'm gone.